Greetings fellow viewers and colleagues. I know you've been impatiently waiting for a brand new upload, and we brought to you fellow viewers this Gacha Life documentary, prepared alongside with my research and the work of my fellow colleagues of the science team. We got a lot of things to say and uncover to you fellow viewers. Stay tuned as we dive into this topic after the intro and show. Welcome back fellow viewers. In this video we're going to split our commentary into three major parts. We are going to take a major look at the Gacha apps and see if they are worth the attention of the kids that playing it. Then we will talk about LUNI, the Gacha apps developer and what he did. And lastly, we will discuss and talk about the Gacha community and why a lot of people hate that fandom. And we will begin to see if really the Gacha app series and fandom deserves the hate from the public. As I mentioned before, this is the first part. We're going to talk about a quick major review on the Gacha Life apps. As you can see in this list, there are 7 Gacha apps. Well, there are 13 other apps made by LUNI's company. We will focus on the Gacha apps and we take a quick general look at each one of them in an attempt to see if they are really good. Step I'm going to see is Gacha Life. It's basically an average dress-up game that appeals at younger audience with the chibi art, which is a sort of cuter version of the Japanese anime art style. Nothing much apart from that. It does remind me a lot of those Barbie dress-up flash games back in the early 2000s. It does have some shitty mini-games and some really flawed storyline mode that is useless. The app deserves F's in my opinion. It's not that great, it's just an average dress-up game that tries to appeal those anime kids more accurately to a Barbie dress-up game, but it's set in this decade. While I was researching, I found this interesting review, and it does point out real good points on the Gacha Life app as you can see here, telling both the good and bad things about it. Okay, now we're done with Gacha Life. Let's take a quick look on the other apps. We take that Gacha Club as an example. It's a replicate of Gacha Life, but with the cheaty stuff. Nothing really special there too. It feels like a recycled Gacha Life, a complete reskin game. Same everything. This is the shortest accurate description of the game. Heck, it's even mentioned as a Gacha Life, dude. The other Gacha apps aren't as popular as Gacha Life and Gacha Club, but it's pretty obvious you're getting the same mechanics and graphics as Gacha Life. The title could also indicate which functionality the app will provide, like Gacha Studio is a Gacha editing studio. Gacha Meme app will make those memetikum of meme templates, but with Gacha. And Gacha Adventure is sort of a mobile role-playing game. But all you fellow viewers need to remember that reviewing the Gacha Life app only could give an idea on how the other Gacha Life apps would look like. So all you need to memorize is that Gacha Life is a dress-up game that uses the chibi art style to attract and draw the attention of minors and kids. The sole major good point about this app is the diversity of customization, but other than that, it feels really bad and lazy in many other aspects, like the rushed minigames and storytelling system, not to mention the bad optimization and the lack of good animations. And most importantly, the lack of strict measures to prevent Gacha kids from making more Gacha content. Like seriously, they expected that they could end such thing by putting just a warning sign in the beginning of the app startup and the confirmation box with the strong official English. And that's it for the app review fellow viewers. Now we need to dig through the Gacha hole even deeper. So it will make sense to take a look on who made the game. That's right, the next thing we're going to showcase is the app developer LUNI and his game company LUNI Games. Stay tuned, fellow viewers, as we will uncover the truth about LUNI after the break. Welcome back. As I said before, usually, anybody who just knew about the Gacha games will ask this question: who made the Gacha Life series? And of course, it's the game application developer that goes by the name LUNI. Most people who know about Gacha Life apps will already heard that name at least once. LUNI is the main developer of the Gacha Life apps and series. It would make sense now for you fellow viewers to know a little bit about his life in general. Well, after a single Google search, I found a little biography about him. As you can see here, he is a 27-year-old guy born in April the 23rd, 1993, and he's obsessed with the Japanese cartoons that everybody knows as anime. Hence why he made the Gacha Life apps and games, because anime, as this biography suggests, is his passion. That's why Gacha looks like a bootleg version of Japanese anime lol. Anyways, there isn't very much important information on this biography rather than his estimated income from YouTube, because these sites that put the biographies of famous YouTubers or other social media stars, as you can see here. Some of you fellow viewers might want to know his profit from the Gacha apps and YouTube. Well, in the same site, they stated that he has made like between $100,000 to $1 million from all of his projects. I also have other sites that check from his revenue from the Gacha Life games. As you can see here, he made a decent amount of money from the Gacha Life games. Pretty obvious, since a lot of kids downloaded the Gacha applications. Now let's take a look at his social media accounts. The first thing comes to mind is his YouTube channel. As you fellow viewers can see, it's quite relevant with each upload hitting 1 million views, but I don't know why he hit his subscriber count. But don't worry, since Social Blade will provide us with the exact amount of his subscribers as you see here on this screenshot. He really got a big channel and barely uploads in it. He featured some channels here. They are all related to Gacha Life. But one got my attention. This one, Gacha.com. He used it to promote his apps when Gacha Life wasn't popular. It's a promotional channel for Gacha content, and as the description and intro videos suggest, this channel is working with the LUNI Games company to promote their content. The other channels are pretty much the same Gacha content over and over. Nothing that interesting. It could be one of LUNI's friends. Moving on to his Twitter, the one that was linked on his main channel that goes by the name LUNI Dev is a dead account. He maybe abandoned it, but I found another account that seems to be active. It's this one that goes by the name LUNI. This account is following 10 other accounts, mostly being singers and artists. Nothing that much of an important to get from this Twitter. For the other platforms such as Instagram and Twitch, it seems that he doesn't have that much of activity in them. Well, his Instagram has 266,000 followers. And what's interesting, that he's following a lot more of people on Instagram, mostly being those artists or Gacha Life content creators. He may be more active on Instagram than the other websites, but not on Twitch, which has only 1,600 followers and less to none activity in it. He still features some of the people that we saw earlier on YouTube and Twitch too. Recently, LUNI have gotten into a lot of controversy and backlash. Some are accusing him to be a tracer and art stealer, basically copying every anime character model and putting it in his games without least credit, while others accuse him for being an actual creep, or I should say, pedophile. Well, I won't actually jump into the conclusion that LUNI is an actual child groomer. I will have to see and research for more evidence to back up my point if I will, but I do find some really good videos about that topic. So, I'm going to showcase some of these videos I found to you fellow viewers, and I'm going to make my decision on the allegations involving LUNI and see if they make sense or not, based on my opinion on the matter.
This is one of the things LUNI does best. Ignore the community. This all became a thing when people realized the 13+ content on his games, and so people brought attention to it and a lot of people contacted him about it. But only months later he addressed it on his Instagram and Twitter, not his YouTube or anything where he has over 1 million subscribers. His Instagram where he only has a few thousand. Of course, when Gacha Life got updated, iOS users didn't get the update as soon as Android users, meaning that they could still make that content. And even now, almost a year after LUNI brought attention to this, iOS still doesn't have Gacha Club updated, so Gacha iOS users can still make that type of content.
Also, as you fellow viewers saw, the videos actually provide really decent points that back up the claim that LUNI is a potential child groomer. I'm going to point out to you fellow viewers the disgusting shit he did, so let's start first with this screenshot of Gacha Studio. Yes, this screenshot is actually from the game, and it's real. I used Bluetooth Android emulator to ensure if this was actually real, and it turned out to be real. Yeah, sexual poses on a 10+ rated game. Wow, LUNI knew that if he was actually willing to attract kids and minors in the first place. He is actually acting very creepy. And also, what the fuck, he portrayed himself as a female character in the Steve versions of Gacha Life and in Gacha Memories visual novel. I mean, he portrayed himself with an over-sexualized tone. This just proves even more that LUNI acting like a degenerate weeb spreading his perverted ideology among children. And last but not least, remember the cake that LUNI have made so he could remove the sexualized poses and calling in Gacha Life and Gacha Club. It is actually true, and some of the offensive content got removed on these apps. But guess what? It's only on the Android version, meaning anyone playing Gacha Life on iOS or iPhones would still have those poses and not safe for work content on an application that is rated for minors above 10. That's really messed up. And I hate the fact that people want to keep LUNI out of the blame because he can't stop the not safe for work Gacha content creators. Well, he didn't even do this part. I mean, he did the updates after a lot of people complained, and he saw his reputation at risk. If he wasn't a creepy weeb, he wouldn't include such things. He's responsible of what's happening right now to his Gacha player base. He still follows some not safe for work artists on Twitter, and he's just forgetting about fixing the game, leaving both his X series and the kids on the internet in danger. He's taking these issues too lightly, and the consequences are really bad. More and more Gacha horny kids making their shitty Gacha slideshows, and more pedophiles exploiting Gacha kids to fulfill their twisted desires. LUNI is indeed the worst game developer I came across so far because of his careless attitude. He's ignoring all his fandom's issues. He barely communicates with his fandom too, and the quote-unquote fixing he did wasn't even enough to solve the Gacha porn content problem. Not to add the fact his support of some not safe for work artists in his social media and public, he's clearly not giving a shit on what's happening. He either wants thing like that because he's getting his revenue as usual, or he's enjoying the current atmosphere of the current Gacha Life fandom. Or he actually thinks that he fixed the problems, and he's not willing to spend more money on fixing his game and fanbase reputation. And that's basically seeing your game's players as money machines. Not caring about your fan base that supported you the long way will lead you to your downfall. As I see that quite close for LUNI if he didn't act swiftly or actually admit he's wrong and start addressing the issue with his fan base. And speaking of the fan base, it's the primary major reason why people on the vast world of the internet hate something labeled as Gacha Life. Stay tuned and ready, fellow viewers, as we finally address the issues on the Gacha Life fan base. Then why do people want the Gacha Life apps to get banned like me? Welcome back, my fellow viewers. As I said earlier, the Gacha Life fandom is indeed one of the worst fandoms on the whole internet. 90% of the content creators of this fanbase are just making sexualized romance stories, while most of them are 8 to 13 years old kids. There are actual adults in the Gacha Life player base, but most of them turn out to be child groomers and weirdos. What's interesting though is that when Gacha Life applications were released, the content was pretty much normal. You get those weird animations and anime-like stories animations, where animation means pretty much mainstream animation content, but later on some kids got really some creative perverted ideas and decided to make bootleg hentai and TV across YouTube. And it worked out for them since they get millions of views. And not only that, this move actually inspired more Gacha kids to make such shitty Gacha heat content due to the success that these videos actually gained. And here we are today. Almost 99% of the content presented in the Gacha Life community is just plain Gacha heat or sexualized romance stories, or even stupid-ass reaction to anything goes viral by putting some Gacha characters near a screen and watching dialogue cloud popping out as a quote-unquote reaction. The content of the Gacha fandom is absolute trash. You may find some really well-animated professional videos sometimes, but that's just like finding a needle in a pile of hay. Another big issue in the Gacha fanbase is how most of its members are complete brain-dead people. I mean, what do you expect from literal kids if you make a video disapproving Gacha Life or a Gacha tubers or even LUNI? They will start to like bombing your videos and actually come up with some weird ass insults with the dead ass grammar. Most of their arguments are me being a caring, jealous, or a talentless dude who can't code or even animate mob. Anyways, those points could be easily debunked for the people who think that Gacha kids are talented. They're fucking brain dead. Anybody could pull up their editing skills with the glorious app KineMaster and actually dress up a doll with various colors. And most of the Gacha content lacks any type of good storytelling or immersion towards that story. So you end up having normal qualities like anybody else, and not an actual talent. There are actual Gacha kids with good smooth animation skills, but guess what? They can pull up such thing without the need of Gacha applications, which means that Gacha doesn't give an actual talent. And for the people who keeps calling me jealous of LUNI because he made huge profits from his game, they're also wrong. This argument is pretty much used everywhere because how versatile it is for making someone's criticism invalid. I mean, take a look at this channel. I showcased earlier in the LUNI part, she got dislike bombed because she gave valid points on how LUNI is acting like a fucking careless creep that doesn't give a damn crap about his fan base being consumed by the CB and other gross Gacha stuff. Why would you be jealous of a developer that gets hated 24/7 for not doing his part to stop the degeneracy in the internet, and actually indirectly or directly helping it spread among fucking enraged subjects? And the sad part about all this shitfest is how most of the Gacha kids keep supporting LUNI blindly even with the evidence and proof that gets shown every day. And you know what's even worse? It's the fact kids think that such content is okay and actually entertaining. Just take this Gacha kid as an example. She does upload daily her shitty recycled romance stories every time. Even though I don't see any Gacha heat, but those fucking titles are weird as fuck, and not meant for fucking children. Anyways, due to the horrible state of how the community became, many Gacha tubers quit when good people quit. That means there's a really big problem inside that community. Remember, when I said that every action has a consequence, the unforeseen consequences of LUNI's carelessness and greed brought up chaos at the point where Gacha life hacks are now popular, how much child groomers are using them to bait kids. This really a serious issue. In fact, now I suspect every Gacha player above the 18 is a potential pedophilic time love. He was caught simping on a 13-year-old girl that was playing Gacha 2, and he was quote-unquote enjoying it. I bet he wasn't, because he saw from Gacha life the opportunity to exploit children. Some of you fellow viewers may argue, in any community there is a good side and a toxic side, which is actually true, but the problem with the Gacha community is how the good side is way smaller than the bad side. The toxicity is off recommended healthy charts. It's like a radiation-contaminated area with lots of radioactive matter, and you can't live in such places. Another thing to note about that community is how most of their members are in terms of fighting off hate and actually convincing people to not hate on Gacha life anymore. They fail miserably at it, and that basically gives them more haters. Back then when the UTTP started taking off some Gacha channels, they handled the situation horribly. The UTTP used only social engineering, which is literally tricking the person until he gives you your personal information like the email and password, and they fall for it easily. And the community started making some stupid-ass groups to combat the UTTP and Gacha haters, which just made the situation even worse. Heck, there was a group that goes by the name GBRS, and the leader and founder of that group was exposed later for being a child groomer mob, which just proves my early point. Another example I could give is Len Totally, a very famous Gacha tuber with over 600,000 subscribers that got exposed being a child groomer, exchanging explicit photos with a 14-year-old. The Gacha community now became a playground for pedophiles, which results in having more children getting groomed on a regular basis, and also more hate towards the community and LUNI alongside with his game series. This is the main reason why people hate on Gacha people even more than ever, including me. To summarize all this up, Gacha life hacks are quite average in terms of quality, and they're known for having one of the worst fan bases on the entire internet. And of course, let us not forget the creator of these applications, LUNI, who tend to show more carelessness about his fan base and game, and cares only about getting his game's revenue, ignoring the fact that a lot of children has been put into danger because of him. basically letting them getting groomed by pedophiles, and not responding or even condemning the situation on his YouTube channel. All he did was sharing the notice on his social media and releasing a broken update that quote-unquote fixed and removed the inappropriate content from the applications, while the iPhone version still having them. Not to add the shitty community that keeps ruining the reputation of Gacha applications and making people losing faith in the next generations of humanity. And that's why, fellow viewers, I disapprove both of LUNI and his fanbase. If I was at LUNI's place, I would have made a video on YouTube and shared it on social media condemning the fanbase's actions and actually go to the point where I've been the Gacha games until those horny kids get educated. It's both LUNI's and the community's fault. They're the one to blame. They're not doing their part, and hence why more people hating on them increase day to day. Anyways, fellow viewers, I hope you enjoy my first long transmission, and sorry for not uploading as much as I did earlier. And that's it. See you in my next transmission, fellow colleagues and viewers.